Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, my topic for the video will be believing in yourself or belief in self. I haven't decided yet, but yeah, so welcome back to my channel. My name is Desire, but energetically and spiritually, I identify with Star. I am an intuitive channel tarot reader, and I offer a large range of advice throughout life. If you have not already read my About Me section of my channel, please go and do so. You'll get a better understanding of who I am as a whole and what I have to offer outside of tarot readings. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, please, I would greatly appreciate your subscription, your love, and your support as I build the spiritual community on YouTube. So, belief in self. There is, throughout my journey in life and where it brought me to this point in my life, my height of spirituality, there's this place of calmness and oneness and wholeness with myself. It really, truly, it boiled down to believing in myself. It didn't really, when I go back and reflect on everything, it wasn't something that was done for me, something that was given to me, or not even necessarily that I followed all the right advice. I followed the guidance and did all the right things in my life, which led me here. I did many things in my life that beguiled me, that took me off my path, that took me away from my purpose. My heart, being such a loving and open-hearted person, I have been beguiled in a naive way by allowing my goodness to go in places where it truly was not deserving or worthy to be there. And it all just comes back down to the journey of yourself and believing in yourself. And that's all that matters. And that's all that ever will matter. Everything else outside of self belief is just a beautiful, effortless reflection of what you already have for yourself. So going in, I took notes and I just have topics I'm going to speak on. So the first, for me, I like labeled this in stages of what I experienced throughout my journeys. So the first stage of believing in self, my first stage was it was scary to believe in myself. And the reason it was scary for me was because growing up, when we grow up throughout life, naturally from the time of birth to the time of where we can really perceive and really understand what your consciousness is and all of those things, but it starts at birth. So from birth and forever on, you develop these patterns, you develop thought patterns, reacting tactics, patterns like belief patterns. So whatever you background you came up from, whatever was predominantly the vibration or what experience you had in life, it absolutely shapes the degree into which you believe in yourself and you believe that you can achieve things for yourself. So, okay, scary. So that could be family patterns. For example, growing up in a family where there were not many people who did anything outside of like graduating high school or really took life into their own hands and didn't really step into their own calling, but more so just doing like a 9 to 5, just getting by. And absolutely, there's nothing wrong with that. Whatever fulfills you in life, that's for you. It's not the same for everyone. So for me, growing up in an environment where it's just predominantly 9 to 5 and you follow this system and you believe in this principle and you just work hard and it's just very limiting and very unsupportive patterns that I grew up in, that things have to be this way or you have to apply yourself in this way to get these results. Like you have to work really hard, and sometimes even if you work really hard, you won't get the things that you deserve, or if you are the only person doing it, then it can't be feasible because you're the only one doing it. Where's the production in that? So those things come about when you take that journey of self. You do have a stage where you're afraid, because more often than not, what you are afraid of is everything that you have not physically seen yet. So you're afraid of walking away because this is the only thing you know. You're afraid of falling on your face. You're afraid of losing your family. You're afraid of being misunderstood. You're afraid of just losing something. You're afraid of failing. You're afraid of the I told you so's or I never should have did it. It's just so many fears that come up, and it's different for each person, I know. So that can be family patterns, and you just adapt like You grow up and you watch your parents just get up, they go to work, they do this, or whoever. Naturally, we adapt to that lifestyle. Naturally, we all have this concept from growing up in certain traditions and certain ideologies that we just adapt to those things, and that's just the way of life until we decide to step outside of the unknown, step outside of our comfort zone. And unfortunately, and more often than not, your biggest opposition is your family. And that's scary that you have to face and face, like, kind of have like a face down or a standoff to the people that you literally depended on for survival for so many years. So to naturally go against those people and to naturally go against the, like, your natural survival traits, the things that you have survived on, it creates this fight or flight energy within ourselves. It's like we're going into a uncharted territory. We can already feel emotionally, and it's so deep and it's complex because we can feel our own emotions from things that we produce in ourselves from what we've seen. So you can already have stagnation and limiting thought patterns about stepping out into the unknown and really truly finding you, just based on not even seeing that in your life growing up. No one really stepped out and found themselves. No one really went off the grid or just really took a journey into self to really produce something outside of what's already there, the what was already you were born into or that you just worked your way into, not necessarily producing something outside of what already existed. So going against that, going against the people that you relied on for survival, that you picked up your patterns from and everything, it is very scary. It can be very scary, and it creates that sense in your body. It's like, okay, this is not the way our life has been operated. This is not the way we thought or perceived things. So you go into the fight or flight, and that's your mind way of trying to protect you from something that your body is indicating your mind is indicating that this is a dangerous situation. So when that happens, it's going to further ride that momentum, like, let's go back to what's comfortable, let's go back to what we know, let's go back to what's normal. Not necessarily not knowing that it just feels uncomfortable and you're in this fight or flight mode because this is your first time going out into this new adventure. So it is a discovery that you have to make, but it's a discovery of yourself, and you should never be afraid of finding yourself. And then also, under the scary topic is, like, you get the projections from other people. So, family, friends, associates, whatever. Let's say you're one of few in your life, in a circumstance in your life where you're like, okay, I've done this for a long time. I'm fulfilled in this field, I'm fulfilled in this relationship, or whatever it is for you that you know you've reached that pinnacle. You can't go any further than that. You can't produce any more from that. And instead of you just going throughout life robotically and just existing and just doing what's safe and comfortable and what you know will produce the same results, just doing what's safe and comfortable. And instead of doing that, you actually step outside of that. So when you do that and you are in close knit with people, and just a stranger can project on you, of course, but it's more affected by the people that you are interacting with on a regular basis. So the people around you, if they are in fear of believing in themselves, or they haven't really taken that journey, or even life hasn't brought them to that point where they know, like, the next step that they can take, the only step they can take is back to themselves, they will absolutely project their fears, their insecurities, their jealousies, their competitive nature. All of these things will come out by way of projection. And what projection is basically, like, growing up in high school, it was a machine and it projected an image, but it held that image. So imagine a person being that projector. It's holding their own images, their own vibrations, their own thought patterns, and they're going to project it onto you, the white screen, whatever it is that is not in relationship to what's inside of them or inside of that projector. It's going to project itself outwardly. So those people are projecting their insecurities, their low vibrational thought patterns, their lack of self. All of these things, jealousy, animosity, anything can come about when you come into a journey of self and you walk in the path of yourself. So many energies, so many characteristics can come out of people that you had no recollection of. And that's by way of projecting. And you have to understand, like, when those things happen, absolutely, you make the call of how you ratify that or handle those individuals or the situation. A lot of people, I'm not going to say they don't care about you because they're projecting their insecurities on you, but at some point, you have to make the conscious decision to address the projection that is coming onto you, and you have to make the conscious decision to, if the projection doesn't stop, then you have to detach and make those separations, because their projection is not helping you. Their projection is their energy that they're trying to feed onto you, because they are lacking something within themselves to where they can't internalize it and produce something more from what they already have. So understand that projection, it truly is when people attack you and are just pessimistic and negative about things that you are excited about, you're eager about, you want to know more about, things that are benefiting for yourself, things that are solely and truly for you. And when you express these things and feelings and emotions and thoughts or whatever those are with other individuals, and you don't get that match of energy, that is truly, absolutely, it all comes down to lack of self, an insecurity within them, something that they have not addressed, something they have not internalized. So therefore, if they haven't taken it within themselves, the only thing they can do is project it back out to something that doesn't match what's in them. And then it's scary because you have lack of support. Absolutely, for me, I lost a lot of support. I almost said all of my support, but I have to stop letting those thought patterns come back into my life, because I have not lost all support in my life, but I absolutely lost a significant amount of family, siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, any family member that you can name that has a title. I have lost the support of those people, but in doing so, it wasn't a loss. I removed the support. That's a better way to place that. To term that, I removed the support of the non-support. I removed the people that were non-supportive. That the illusion of support, but it was really more of stagnation and blockages that I really couldn't even truly see. So, by way of me removing those people, it creates anger. And that's kind of, yep, that is my next point of this message. It creates anger within the people that you chose to create, to remove from your life. And that forms it, you be attacked by other people. They will start to attack you. For me personally, I've had my family, siblings, aunts, uncles, whatever family title you can think of, attack me, tell me how weird I am, or I'm just off the grid, or like something's just wrong with me. It just has to be me. I'm such an outcast. I'm so secretive. I'm such a recluse. It's something wrong with me, right? It was always something that was wrong with me. It was my fault that they felt this way about me. It was my fault for everything that was outside of me, as well as everything that I'm trying to heal that has been projected into me. And me speaking out about that and addressing that and cutting the relationships and removing the people, the toxic relationships, the low vibrational people, actually standing up and doing what it takes for myself. And in doing so, I got so much anger, so much backlash, and I still do. And I'm past that. I know that that's going to be a reoccurring thing, and I experienced it with my family on the first level, and that just sets me to experience it on different platforms as I continue to reach other heightened pinnacles in my life. So that truly, coming back to the journey of myself, I understand every connection I had to end, every person I had to remove, everything that I had to do. And at that moment, it felt like just a lack of support, and like just the world was out to get me, and just people don't care, and they put on a facade until you march to a different beat, and then you truly see their nature. And yes, to a degree, that was the case as well. So just the attacks and the anger and just the resentment I receive from, I'm not going to say everybody. Obviously, I am loved on a huge scale, but also with that, you have the opposite of that. So just complete strangers, just attack me or attack my spirit more, and that's not me but my spirit and my nature, because they can feel my energy, they can feel the sense of power, the sense of self-worthiness, the sense of knowing, confidence. And if a person does not match that, they're going to attack that because it's not matching what's inside of them. So that in turn, imagine, it's almost like a sleeping giant or whatever, a sleeping monster, and imagine something coming along that is so powerful and so strong that it has quite literally the force to awaken things within you that you didn't even know was sleeping, or bring things to the surface that you try very well to hide, or that you just didn't do a good job at trying to mend and heal. So imagine you being a person and you're doing the journey of yourself and you're stepping into your knowing, you're stepping into your personal power, but you're still interacting with the day-to-day people and the vibrations of what's always predominantly been around your life. That's that transitioning stage. And that's the stage where it's very likely you will be attacked by people you've known your whole life, people you've only known for a day, a week. It's just the energy that you start to carry. Once you do that journey to self and once you start to believe in yourself, it matches. You eternalize it all, and then you are projecting that self belief out. You project who you are outwardly to everyone, but it's just a degree of what you have in yourself. If you're a good, lighthearted person, mostly, because we all dip to lower frequencies where we're not operating at our highest good, or the most open heart space or mental space. We're human. We're not perfect. So if you are this person that is predominantly light and positive, and then you are in an atmosphere, in an environment with people of opposition, and this light and power within you is continually get stronger and stronger because you're continuing to do the work of self-belief and self-discovery. When you put yourself into an environment that is predominantly opposite of that, naturally it's going to repel. It's not going to match. It's going to repel each other because it's not a matching energy. So that's where the anger and attacks come from people whom you have maybe not known at all, complete strangers, or people you've known your whole life. And then the next stage for me of self-discovery and belief in myself was the outcast stage. And so the outcast stage is, so for me, I've considered myself an outcast my whole life. I've always known that I was different, and it was just something just uniquely, like, just mysterious and different about me. Just growing up, I've known that always. But as I get older and I identify that, and as I have walked into my life's purpose, it all makes sense for me now. But maybe like the last 5 years, especially this journey of believing in myself, I became an outcast in environments that I thought I was a part of, if that makes sense. Like family, friends, just like just outcast me, or I'm so unrelatable, or I'm just so like, what happened to, because my family still calls me Desire, but publicly people just call me Star. So my family's like, oh, what happened to Desire? Or there'll be like, sometimes I'll reach out to certain family members, or make connections to certain family members that truly are not beguiling to my life path and my soul, that truly do not hinder me, and I can manage them in a light way still. So I reach out to some, and it'd be like a conversation come up like, yeah, so and so told me like you're doing this now and you're doing that. Like, where'd she get there from and what happened to her? And just all these things that come up. And of course, the people I'm speaking to in those moments, they love me. They are trying their hardest to understand me, but it's something in them that is like, she's so different now. I can't even relate. Like, she was always different, but it's just so different now. It's like almost um uncomprehensible to certain people in my life that has watched me over the past 31 years, and just to like develop into this whole different person over the last maybe quite rapidly this last year for sure. But this journey of self, like, I really have been on this deep internal journey of self for like 7 years. It increased the last 5 years, and from 2016 to now, it just each year it gets stronger and stronger, and it speeds up more and more. And 2019 was like an accelerated course to self and alignment and divinity. So just the people who've known me my whole life, or for a great deal of my life, or for a number of years, even within the last year, it's just completely thrown by like the transition I've made within myself. So that in sense kind of puts me in like this like outcasted energy, and I'm okay with that, because being like a not it benefits me because I'm an empath as well. So I feel energy on any level. So it benefits me to be removed from the energies that were in a way holding me back anyway. So it kind of all works out anyway. But you will, for some, you will go through this stage of being feeling like an outcast, like you don't even fit in the places that you thought was your environment. It's not your environment anymore, and that's okay. And that's just an indicator of that environment is not conducive for you anymore. You've outgrown your environment, so it's time for you to be into another environment. It's time for you to not be related. It's time for you to be outcast because you are past that stage. Yeah, that's it for that topic. And then the next one was yeah, just like the inner healing. So when you go from being scared to being mad, and then finally you realize like the people not coming around no more, people not calling no more, or just things that you would normally do, it just doesn't happen anymore. You will start to notice that. And then once you notice that, it naturally kind of like by default, you have no choice but to continue your inner healing. You have no choice but to go in, unless you want to. You do have a choice. You can lie to yourself and just stop taking the journey to self and go back to those lesser energies that do not serve you truly. You can do that, absolutely. Or you can continue to choose yourself, which will place you in a more deeper level of inner healing, inner understanding, inner knowing. And with doing so, that is how you produce and how you kind of become like the alchemist of your life. Like all of those energies that were projected into you, all of those thought patterns, make sure I'm staying on topic. Yes, all of the things that were projected into you, all of those thought patterns, reaction tactics, whatever it was you developed growing up through life, and relationships from people, significant others, whatever relationship you had with a person, professional or otherwise, all those projections that you received, when people project and you interact with certain energies for so long, you absolutely adapt to those energies. You start vibrating at that frequency. So once you do the journey of inner healing, everything that was projected onto you, you do become the alchemist of your life, because you can transmute every hindering energy, everything that let's say for me, it's certain things in my life. I'm trying to give. What's the most good example to give? I can't think of one authentically to give right now, but so like inner healing, let's say like you grew up in you wanted to be, I don't know, a rock star, and your family, you come from a family of doctors, and they're like, no, you're going to be a doctor. This is how we do things. Why would you even think? Just like that projection. And you're really, being a rock star is the one thing that you've always wanted to be, is the one thing that fills you. So when you do that inner healing, you have to take all that negativity, all those projections, all the projection that was placed inside of you, either by way of you self-sabotaging and not being kind to yourself or other people. You go through this journey where you have to heal. You have to heal those wounds. And you can turn, for me, I turned every painful situation, every painful wound in my life, I alchemized it into, yes, that hurt. And yes, I know that that's still an energy, but I'm going to use this energy in a productive way. I am not going to relate to the fact that it was painful and hurting. And when I come to a memory or something, and I recall something that was very painful and hurting, I just say, I don't relate to that anymore. That's not how I choose to use this energy, whatever that is for you. And ironically, I can't come up with a clear, authentic example from my life, but whatever that is for you, whatever negative energy that is coming towards you, and that's just a testament, because I can't even recall something where it's like this happened in detail as I'm producing and like sharing knowledge and insight, that's a testament to itself, because absolutely I can write a book about everything that happened to me. But when you take that energy and you transmute it, and you're so well at doing it, when you try to recall something that used to hurt you, it's like you trying to rip that wound and you trying to like unstitch that suture. You can't, I can't do it. So you're going to heal, you're going to alchemize that energy, and you're going to produce the results that you want in your life, and things will start to come together for you. And then the next topic is self power. So after that inner healing, you produce, it's just naturally, it's a huge amount of self knowing, self love, self understanding, just knowing who you are and who you are not, and knowing what you will accept and what you will not accept into your life. That's just a huge sense of self power. Like what relationships you choose to accept, what endeavors you choose to take, what offers or opportunities you choose to let pass by or you benefit from. You become the CEO of your life. You're like, no, I'm not going to do that. Thank you for your opinion. I know who I am because I've done the journey of myself. I believe in myself, and I do not need your opinion or your opposition for me to go on to the next stage of my life. No, you are not going to do this. No, this is not how this is going to happen. Actually, it's going to happen this way now. And simply because you know that it's going to happen this way now, because you've done the work, and no one can speak over you. No one can speak over your frequency. No one can dictate your outcome, because no one did the work of inner healing to tell you who you are, what you're worthy of, what you are not, what you're capable of, what you can and cannot do. The only person that can make that decision is you, because who was the only person that did the inner healing? Who was the only person that truly believed in you? That's the only opinion that matters. That's the only input and voice that truly matters. And then once you get to this point, you don't even seek the opinions and advice of others, and if not of others, certainly not of those who you've evolved past. You won't even want to even interact when to engage in a conversation that can be beguiling or disbalancing to the energy that you've worked so hard to achieve. You're not even going to even entertain the idea that someone else knows what is best for you in your life. For me, in the recent past, I had someone tell me what I will not be doing, what I am not capable of doing in my life purpose, in my path as a spiritual healer and therapist. So it was kind of like, oh no, you're not going to be doing that. And instead of me just, in the past, I would like internalize that, like, what did they see in me that makes them think that I'm not capable of it? Like, what was it? Just this whole downward spiral of insecurity and self-doubt and just sabotaging nature. But this time, and it was a person that was relatively new in my life that didn't know me to even tell me what I can do or who I am or what I have to offer. But that is just them projecting their insecurities and their lack of self-belief onto me. But in the past, I would internalize that and really like let that sit me down on my butt. I almost said ass, but I'm trying not to cuss so much. To really let me just sit me down and just really have me feeling like, dang, I thought I was good at this, but this person seen something in me so strongly that they felt so strong about it to tell me what I can't do. I used to be like, oh, well, damn, I can't do it. But after I did the journey of self-belief and inner healing, I'm like, no, you can't do it. Sorry you feel that way. I know what I can do. And I don't even have to argue you down. I don't have to take shots. I don't have to do any of those things. I'm just going to continue to do what I want to do. And I don't have to announce that to you. You'll realize that once I'm past you, that I am who I am. I'm going to do what I want to do. You or no one else will ever place your projections, your insecurities, your lack of self-belief onto me. So yeah, absolutely. I alchemize that completely, because there has been times all the time in my life when someone told me I'm not making the right decision, or just in the too recently. this year. I was a single mother of 2 children, all by myself, just completely by myself. So that in itself comes with so many journeys, and losing my mother and losing my family and my children's fathers not being active in their life. Like my family and people closest to me, and not all of my family obviously, but the ones that truly didn't serve me, they put so much projection on, you're a single mother of 2 children by 2 different men. You're not even, because I was in nursing school, I ended up walking away from all of that complete nursing field. I'm done with that. That's behind me. That was my job, and I loved what I did. I loved serving people and helping people. That was just the first level of humanitarianism for me. That was my developing level. And now, since I've left my job and stepped into my calling, and this step, that transition was a lonely one, was one full of at some points of self-doubt, self-sabotaging, but doubt and projection and from others, just so much negativity and backlash, and just unwanted, unbeneficial, unbeneficiary, unnecessary, just all this energy that came towards me undeservingly. So doing the journey by myself, going through what it took to do the things that I had to do for myself, it naturally produces self power to where you are at a point like, no, I do know what I can do. And actually, you'll get the chance to see exactly what I'm going to do, but just not in a point in my life, not in a place in my life where you can affect my emotions, you can affect my vibrations, you can affect my outcome, because I do not allow that energy that you carry into my life anymore. I identify that it's coming from a place of projection, and I'm not going to honor it. Simple as that. And then the next one is ownership. So you start to show up in your life. Ownership for me was quitting my 9 to 5 in the nursing field. I was when I quit my last job, I was a nursing assistant. So that's like the direct care for the patients, like taking care of them, literally from head to toe, taking care of them. And I did that for 7 years, while taking care of my mother, while being a single parent to my son who will be 5 next month, while having a daughter and she'll be 2 in March, while going through all this, losing my mother, losing my family, I still got up and I still served humankind at the only level that I knew how. And I maintained my grace, I maintained my faith. And I knew in those points, like the last 4 years of my life, I knew I was transitioning out of the nursing field. And I knew it was something else for me. I just didn't know what it was. And I knew that I could not discover it in past people, the past vibrations, the past thoughts, the past feelings that I had for myself. I knew that I truly had to discover me, to discover what was truly next for me. So that's that ownership, me getting up and showing up for my life, me doing the shadow work to truly heal, me falling on the floor, me crying my eyes out, me being mad at the world, me being mad at my parents for leaving this earth when I felt like I wasn't prepared for them to leave, me just being so angry at ultimately becoming a statistic, 2 children by 2 different men who are not in their children's life. I really have to face all of that. I really have to internalize all of it and still come out on top of it and still deem myself worthy and come into my ownership of self, knowing who I am, knowing I'm not a statistic. I am my children's world. I am going to be a beacon for me. I am a beacon for many people outside of my children. My value wasn't lessened or traded off because I had children, because I chose to act in love and light and have children by people, or because I chose to not lie to myself, not lie to my children by staying in a relationship that I knew we've outgrown. The only beautiful thing that was truly there was our children to be produced for that. I'm not going to lie to myself. I'm not going to stay in a relationship. I'm not going to get married to a man and then get divorced when my child is 18 and then just put all these limiting thought patterns into their head. Fake it till you make it. Like, I'm not doing that. I don't care what anyone perceived about me. And it's so ironic, and it's so humbling to those people, I'm sure, that had such opinion, a negative opinion, a strong opinion about my life. Now, for me to have made this complete turnaround in my life, really, truly a complete different person, to those people, especially just to see those transitions. I'm pretty sure it's very humbling for them to see all the negativity, all the things that you placed on me, all the projections, all the hurtful things you did, all the things that you chose not to do to hurt me. It didn't work. I alchemized it all. I did the journey of self, and I am the owner of my life. I am walking in my path, and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And not only that, I am inspiring many along the way. And then my last topic for this video is fulfillment. So I am fulfilled. I've identified, I've discovered my self-worth. I have placed that balance. My heart is as light as a feather again now. I do know when to have mind over heart and heart over mind. I am in balance. I am in alignment with my ascended great tribe. I am very spiritually connected. I'm very powerful within myself and outside of myself. I possess a lot of power. I possess a lot of insight, a lot of divinity, a lot of clarity, wisdom, knowing, all of these things. But I wouldn't have even discovered a percentage of these things. I'm not gonna cry on camera, not today. But I wouldn't have discovered a percentage of who I truly am. Just the essence, the true beauty of me, of desire, of star. I wouldn't have discovered that had I let myself drown in others, in the projections of others, in the ill will and low vibrations of other people. I would have not found this self-worth. I would not have found this level of fulfillment. I wouldn't have found the balance. And now I'm at a point in my life where I feel not 100% complete, but more complete in my life than I ever have. I have two beautiful children. I am in a beautiful union with my divine counterpart. It's just so beautiful. So many completing cycles in my life. And yes, all of the beautiful things that I have now, at one point, I had to make these beautiful things. I had to do the journey. You have to do the journey and you will be rewarded. You will have completion. And every day I wake up, it's just I'm such truly a light, calm person now. I hug trees, I feed birds. Just the other day I had set apple slices out on my walkway and a little squirrel came up and ate it, and I was just so filled with satisfaction and appreciation. Just truly a beautiful thing. I cried. Like, it was just the most beautiful thing to know that something as insignificant as an apple is life changing for a creature. Like, it's just a true humbling, fulfilling heart space for me. And that I know I'm on the right path. I know I'm walking in my calling and in my purpose. And I'm just so thankful. I'm so thankful and I'm so proud of myself that I went through all these processes, this fear, the anger, being outcast, doing the shadow work, self-ownership, because to show up for yourself, that takes dedication. To get up and show up for yourself, for me, I have to be more dedicated and more driven, owning my own business, being my own entrepreneur, creating my own platform. I have to have more willpower and ownership and be more driven than I was being obligated to a 9 to 5. Because once you're obligated to someone else's business, you're going to get up because you feel more obligated. But if you have the choice to just lay in bed and not do nothing or whatever, if you have nothing forcing you to do it, just yourself, that takes absolute ownership and self-dedication and self-drive. And I didn't have this level of achievement and self-dedication and drive going to school for nursing or going to a 9 to 5, just taking the steps that was already paid for one to take to go to nursing school. You have this certain amount of curriculum and everything that you have to pass, and then you do the NCLEX and your licensing and all those things, and then you go into a job that's already path for the things that you did. So it's easier to take steps when the path has already been laid out for you. It wasn't until I'm like, oh, I don't want this path anymore. I'm going to create my own path. That's when I really, really have to discover what it means for ownership, to really have that drive and that willpower. And I'm rewarded on so many levels: emotional fulfillment, financial fulfillment, health. Just it's just a beautiful time in my life, and everything that I've done through 2019 and in closing it, I can truly, wholeheartedly, and honestly say that I am proud of myself. I am proud of the obstacles I've overcome in 2019 and my life as a whole. And I just look forward to the next year, the next every day of my life. I know it's an elevation. And it's just such a beautiful thing. And I want this beautiful thing for as many people. I want this for as many people as I can reach. So I hope that I know that this message will be helpful to many. Mana, love, and light to you all. And I'll see you guys soon.